A wing, a prayer, and a promise. Preface. Have you ever looked up at the sky and wondered where heaven was? Is it located beyond the stars, beyond the galaxies, or could heaven be here on earth? Is heaven a special place in your heart? Who is God? Is he everywhere? Does he look like a man or a spirit? Is God a woman? Is there more than one God? Is God real or just a figment of our imagination conjured up by ancient storytellers? Why are we alive? Why do we exist? Why is there war? Why are there even things that exist like poverty, famine and genocide? Why is there such a thing as sexual and domestic abuse? Why is there prejudice against people of different races, religions and sexual persuasions? Why do innocent children or parents die and suffer from cancer or any other horrible disease, and why is there such a thing as murder, terrorism and corruption? And if there is a God, how could he allow any of these terrible things to exist? Doesn't God have a heart full of love and compassion for his creations? How could he allow human beings to act this way and be subjected to so many levels of pain and suffering? How could any human being reap and rejoice in the wonderful gifts, blessings and rewards this life has to offer without acknowledging and doing anything possible to correct the injustices and horrors that taint and pollute our world? Why is it okay for so many people to suffer while others simply bask in the rewards and wealth reserved for the chosen or select few? Where is the compassion? Where is the love? Where is the army of modern men and women that have banded and bonded together to speak as one mighty voice to God or the world and say enough is enough? To speak as one nation and world under God or humankind and express our concern that we have learned our lessons in this human race and we are ready to take the next step to begin to heal and change and mentally evolve. We have eyes to see the world around us and common sense and knowledge enough to have compassion and empathy and solutions and remedies to make this world a better place to live for every man, despite the misguided leadership and direction of our governments, politicians and religious leaders. In man's quest to answer and understand the mysteries of God, we have always looked to the stars. From the Tower of Babel, the biblical tale of early man's attempt to build a stairway to heaven, to modern man's technological towers of Babel, Voyager and the Hubble telescope. On the Earth we have physical evidence such as the Great Pyramids of Egypt and other ancient artifacts and structures throughout the world, that early man had a knowledge and insight into the stars and their alignments and the significance that they held. This is a knowledge that has been lost for thousands of years to mankind, but hopefully perhaps it has just been hidden and saved in a secret way that will be revealed for all to see, in God's own due time. Stone monuments such as Stonehenge further indicate that modern man has lost this secret and special and superior knowledge of the stars and the significance of their alignments. Throughout the world there are numerous stone monuments, megaliths, temples and pyramids that have specific astrological alignments that are unknown to modern man but obviously had great meaning and significance to our ancient ancestors. Stonehenge is a significant mystery because it has had several incarnations and revisions over the millenniums. Each revision is more elaborate and detailed in its creation and presentation. Stonehenge started as a chalk outline to trace the visible ruminates of a circle of presumably unknown origin. As time went by, the chalk sketch became a more permanent manifestation to preserve the importance of this impression in the earth made of wood posts. As time further continued, the wood manifestations eventually became the blue stone slabs that we see today. Why was Stonehenge such a significant site that its existence must somehow be preserved for all time and eternity? And how did modern man know that their contribution to this ultimate task was so important and meaningful? Stonehenge is a remarkable mystery of mankind because of these multiple incarnations over the millenniums. In fact, there are thousands of ancient stone circles, megaliths, monuments and pyramids throughout the world that have similar and suspicious and compelling alignments with the sun, the moon and the stars that cannot be explained or understood by modern man. But with knowledge, research, modern technology and scientific proof, we have an unheard amount of wealth of educated information available to us to come to some very confident and intelligent conclusions. With that being said though, where is the undisputed truth? These stone monuments have stood for thousands of years, and even today very little is known about why they were constructed and what their purpose was. Modern man has speculated and theorized endlessly about their meaning and reason for existence without any substantial or realistic explanation. Over the last 50 years or so, scientists and archaeologists have made some amazing discoveries concerning the origins, construction and execution or meaning/reason/purpose of these ominous stone structures. Recently a new legacy has emerged that further mystifies the mystery of these stone monuments. Configurations known as crop circles have been appearing spontaneously in the same region of Great Britain as the location for Stonehenge, as well as other regions throughout the world. Without warning or any fanfare, large circles, some with elaborate designs, have suddenly appeared in corn and wheat crops throughout Great Britain. Many of these modern crop circles have been dismissed as pranks perpetrated by local farmers and other misguided pranksters and hooligans seeking their minor moment of fame. Without warning or fanfare, crop circles with elaborate and intricate designs, some as long as a football field, appeared as if out of nowhere in the crops of Great Britain in the early 1990s. No matter how many pranks and frauds are introduced into the fold, no one can ignore or underestimate the original and first official crop circle known as Stonehenge. That is where the legend began. As would be expected, soon there were hundreds of theories about the crop circles and the meaning and reasons for their appearance, everything from wild hedgehogs running amok to pranksters perpetrating a fraud to even UFOs. But in all reality there is only one reason. There is one reason a crop circle would appear, only one, at least according to me. I believe, or at least have hope, that the crop circles and stone monuments particularly in the Great Britain area are spiritual transcript-type manifestations that can be explained with a story that can be found in the Book of Mormon. Thousands of years ago, anywhere between 10 to 50,000 years ago give or take, during the time of the Tower of Babel, there lived a man known as the brother of Jared. The brother of Jared was a gentle and loving man. He had extraordinary common sense and compassion for a man living in this time period. During the trials and tribulations that occurred during the time of the Tower of Babel, the brother of Jared prayed to God for guidance. He prayed stronger and harder and with more passion and desire than God had ever heard from any man before. God was so moved by the passion and sincerity of the brother of Jared's prayers that he eventually shared with him all of the mysteries and secrets of God from before the beginning of time till beyond the end of times. The brother of Jared received the wisdom, knowledge and trust of God to the point that God withheld nothing from him. Using this knowledge, the brother of Jared and his family and friends fled the land of Babel, eventually coming to rest near the shores of what would someday be known as Great Britain. The brother of Jared was told by God not to share this ultimate information with anyone, including his family and friends. God explained to the brother of Jared that there would come a day when all mankind that has ever lived on this earth would learn of all the mysteries of God, but until that day he told the brother of Jared to make a record of these mysteries and secrets of God and then seal them up until that great day arrives, as a symbol and promise that all of God's secrets and mysteries will ultimately be revealed and known to every man and woman that has ever lived on this earth. I believe that these great and ultimate records that contain all of God's works from before the beginning until after the end of conceivable time, that the brother of Jared preserved in the earth, are buried within these crops where Stonehenge and other ancient stone monuments stand. This record was written in the original language of Adam, before the confounding of the languages at the time of the Tower of Babel. I believe that from time to time the power of this record manifests itself by imprinting the symbols and designs of this original language into the landscape of our home called Earth, in anticipation of something very wonderful and blessed that is about to happen. Thousands of years ago, the only way to preserve these crop circles was by first making chalk outlines, then monuments made of wood and then eventually stone. The messages and information contained in these records are of such divine magnitude and importance that they cannot be confined and buried without emanating and seeping out. Just imagine if someone shared with you the biggest secret you have ever heard in your life and then you are told not to share this information with anybody. It can't be done, or it is at least extremely difficult, to say the least. The Bible and other great scriptures predict a series of events that will precede the second coming of Jesus Christ. Among these predictions and revelations is the opening of the Book of Life. Theoretically and biblically, there are two books that will be opened and revealed at the time of the second coming of Jesus Christ. One of these books is the Book of Life, which will be a record of every person who has ever lived and the accounts and actions of every instant of their lives, and the other book will be this ultimate book of God's secrets and mysteries. I believe I have found evidence that leads me to believe this book exists, and as you read my book you will see how I was able and/or inspired to discover its existence and importance. The reader has every right to doubt my sanity, sincerity or intentions, but all I can say is read and come to your own conclusions. Introduction. In order to properly tell my story, I will need to take you step by step through my life and slowly reveal to you the events as they occurred. That will give you the chance to come to your own conclusions about the unusual things that I will share with you. In my life I have been truly blessed and rewarded in ways that I have grown to appreciate. My experiences in this life are not unique, but the circumstances and aftermath of these experiences certainly are. I could keep these experiences to myself and cherish them in private, or do what I am doing now, write a book and share my story with the world. I have always had a sense of destiny and purpose in my life, and now that the time has come for me to begin writing my autobiography, I can't help but feel slightly inadequate and inexperienced, due to my lack of literary knowledge and ability. Not that I am underestimating my writing abilities, but cautioning the reader to not overestimate or expect more than what I have to offer. I do not speak like a thesaurus or a classic novelist, so I will keep it plain and simple by using my own voice. There are no quotes from myself or from the people I am writing about unless taken from written documents, because I can't accurately recall word for word what was said. I can only share with you my memories and my feelings and hope that I have captured the moments and experiences of my life to the best of my knowledge and ability. My goal in sharing my story is that I hope that people will be as moved by my story as I have been in living it, but ultimately it is very likely that many more people will judge and ridicule me for what I have written, not only for my writing style but also for the content of what I am writing about. Why would I want to take the most precious, beautiful, special and embarrassing moments of my life and have them viewed, dissected, mocked and belittled by everyone, including my peers, my friends and family, as well as ignorant and compassionate people? What do I expect to happen by sharing my story to begin with? What if my writing ability is so inadequate that it defeats the purpose of sharing my story in the first place? I can't answer these questions, and at this point I can't afford to second guess and doubt myself. I can only tell you that for some reason I feel compelled to share my story, and by doing so I understand the consequences as well as the rewards of my actions. I know I have to choose my words carefully, but I also have to find a way to use those words in a way that conveys the importance and urgency of what I have to say. I have tried to be as honest and accurate as possible in the telling of my life story. It is not my intention to embarrass or humiliate my family or friends by exposing the intimate details of my life. I can only hope and pray that they will understand why this is something I have to do. Something that, for some weird reason, must be done. I also need the reader to understand that this is a book about my point of view and my experiences as I remember them. I am aware that everyone I am writing about has their own version of what happened based on what they experienced, and that will very much differ from my view.